Welcome, one and all, to the SAS Viya Release Highlight Show. I'm Tiago de Souza, and there's a lot to cover today because we have reimagined data management in SAS Viya. If you notice some new names across the data management experience and you have questions, you're in the right place. And if you didn't notice, well, you're still in the right place because you're going to want to know about this update. We're going to break down what changed, why it changed, and what it means for you working with data every day. We'll also dig into the latest SAS Viya updates, including a refreshed main menu, faster Python scoring with an update to CAS Gateway use in SAS Model Manager, model card enhancements, REST API decision nodes in SAS Intelligent Decisioning, and a whole lot more. Let's get the show on the road and dive into the SAS Viyaverse with David Vike.
Hello and welcome back. This time we have new updates to the main menu. We have more insights for your data and a lot more to dig into. So let's get right into it. We are starting things off where I like to start things off. SAS Information Catalog, our home to find insights into our data. And in the last episode, we looked at the new and refreshed overview page of any assets that you have in here. Now, this looked great, but now this has been expanded to the column profile page. By default, it now gives you a view for each column. You don't have to click into that column view any longer. And also, I feel like it's a lot more structured, easier to consume, and like everything is there that I want. Even advanced analytics pieces if there are correlations, and for data governance pieces, if you have business terms attached or classifications on it, you can see that here as well. But of course, the metric table is not gone. It's still here and you can easily navigate to it and also see that type of information like the correlation between columns in here as well. So awesome new updated view of this that makes it easier to navigate and get where you want to be faster and understand your data faster. With that, talking about getting places faster, let's open up the main menu. And this has greatly changed. First up, we have beautiful new icons up here that I find really helpful to quickly visually navigate through the analytical lifecycle. But then on the right-hand side, maybe this must be my new favorite feature for this year, is the ability to quickly navigate through content that you have touched within SAS Viya. So be that tables that open up in Information Catalog, be it reports in Visual Analytics, be it Model Studio project, decisions, whatever you have and open up, it will keep track for you and you can just jump to those pieces. SAS code, right? So good. But you can also switch that to go to things like my favorites. So you can quickly navigate to those assets you want to make use of the most. And finally, if you have colleagues that share content with you, unlike with me, I only have one that has been shared with me, you can also quickly navigate to that content through here. This is so cool to me and really a booster to how I move throughout the SAS Viya platform. Speaking of, let's click on this Model Studio project because we are going to be looking at a new feature that has been added this month within SAS Model Studio. In here, I have just created a simple example project, but the interesting new node that we have gotten, which can be found under the miscellaneous nodes, is the model registration node. Now, the model registration node is always a terminal node within your branch that you're working with, meaning there is nothing that can come after model registration, which does make sense. It allows you to register models, including their pre-processing step that sit above them, to SAS Model Manager. Now, the cool thing here is this isn't only applicable to things like the supervised learning models, but also to unsupervised learning models that you create in here. For example, if you just want the clustering model that you have built in here, you can go ahead, say, add a child node, miscellaneous, and then model registration. Of course, you could also drag and drop into this. You will get a note that you have to run this node first. Let's dismiss this message for any further pieces and let's run it. As part of running this node, it will take a look and make sure that it has all the required metadata to create rich assets for the SAS Model Manager for us here. While this one is running, let's look at the results of the one that we already ran here. We can see all the score code that's being created. We get the inputs and outputs, the training code, and the associated properties for our model here. Of course, we can also export that as a PDF. And then in here, we can now right-click it to register our model or publish the model to mass, to soccer, or to CAS as appropriate for your use case here. This doesn't only work for clustering, but also for things like let's go ahead and add the text mining node into this. And of course, on this one, we can also add a child node and add a model registration one. So you have a lot of control with this one on what you register back into Model Manager if you find sub-ideas that you really like during your exploration, or one of those unsupervised models is really the helpful piece that you want to pull out and move there. This is awesome. This is such a cool utility that makes building more customized pipelines easier than ever before. So I really appreciate this feature. I want to move along and go into SAS Intelligent Decisioning, where we have gotten an incredible cool new feature. And that is here in the main menu of Intelligent Decisioning. We now have a new decision element called REST API definitions. Now, REST API definitions can be added to your existing decisions, and they become components of them, just like rule sets, segmentation trees, or treatment groups. So they are a similar versioned as well type of asset. We can go in here, and these REST API definitions allow us to interact with REST APIs without having to write any code ourselves. We can even utilize credentials that are stored in SAS Viya domains, so you never have to see or interact with those pieces, and you can really make use of these in a powerful and easy to use manner. Connecting to any external APIs, let's say you want to get weather data added to your decision, or to internal APIs to retrieve additional customer information, look up availability of certain specialists, etc. It's so cool that I'm doing a separate video deep diving all the capabilities. And also, if you don't know what REST APIs are, this will also be covered in that video deep diving this new feature. With that, I have to stop myself. There's so many more cool features in this release. So check out the first link in the description of this video to get access to all the features that have been released in the release. With that, I hope you enjoyed all these new features. There's so much that is now available and that you should definitely check out to help you improve how you work with SAS. So see you next time, and bye-bye.
Thank you, David, for showcasing these new features in SAS Viya. Next up in our rundown, we'll take a look at how SAS Model Manager leverages a new CAS Gateway option to speed up Python scoring even more, model card enhancements, and new SAS Viya Python machine learning models. It's time for the rundown.
Let's talk about what's new in SAS Model Manager in the 2026.06 release of SAS Viya. In this June release, we've added an additional enhancement to our usage of CAS Gateway that speeds up Python scoring even more. To demonstrate this speed, I just started this test for 1 million records against a single CAS node. To see these performance improvements, just follow the typical set of steps to define a scoring test, which are to select a model, the model version, and a dataset. And SAS Model Manager handles the rest. The data will be scored and saved within CAS, and I didn't need to write a single line of code. And just like that, our Python model has scored 1 million records.
As of SAS Viya 2026.04, the SAS Viya Python API now supports zero-copy Polars DataFrames and PyArrow tables. In addition, you can use DuckDB queries directly within SAS Viya models. Let's take a look at this in action. We have a 2.3 gigabyte Polars DataFrame loaded up into memory. We're going to go ahead and import two gradient boosting models, one from SAS Viya and another from scikit-learn. From there, we're going to fit a Polars data frame, and we'll also go ahead and fit a model directly from a Parquet file using a DuckDB query right here. We'll then go ahead and run this with Polars on scikit-learn and see how the performance is. Let's kick it off here and see how it fares. All right, let's take a look at these results here. The SAS Viya model running on a Polars data frame completed in a little over a minute here, and with DuckDB, under a minute. And scikit-learn here still chugging along at 15 minutes. So you can see that the performance gains from this zero conversion running directly on Polars data frames, PyArrow, and DuckDB is quite significant.
The 2026-07 release features a bunch of enhancements of the model card in SAS Model Manager. First, all models have a model card, and all model cards can be customized using a report from SAS Visual Analytics. All models also include a status on where it is within its lifecycle and whether or not it is approved for usage. This extends the documentation of that model and eases auditability of our models. Second, all model cards can be exported as a PDF. You can now more easily share the information about the model's health outside of SAS Viya, and it will only take just a few clicks. And finally, we can generate the training assessment metrics for external models. Users supply a few model properties and their training data table, and SAS Model Manager will handle the rest. This allows teams to create that full model card for models that were trained outside of SAS Viya. Lots of model card enhancements in this release.
Some great updates there, if I say so myself. Let's now reimagine data management with Mark Hugh in today's release talk. Hey Mark, great to have you on the show to tell us all that's new in data management for SAS Viya.
Thanks, Tiago. I'm so excited to be here. There's a lot happening in this space, so I'm looking forward to digging into it.
Definitely. Let's start with walking us through what changed, why we made these changes, and what users need to know.
Absolutely. So let's start with what changed. So the main thing that existing users will likely notice is that we recently renamed 4 of the core data management products within SAS Viya. So Data Explorer is now SAS Data Hub. SAS Studio is now SAS Data and AI Studio. SAS Information Catalog is now SAS Data Governance. And SAS in-database technologies is now SAS Data Accelerator. So why did we make these changes? Well, these updates are meant to clarify what these products do and how they fit into the broader Viya platform. They also align better with how customers use these products today, as well as the future direction of the products and our vision for data management going forward. The important thing to know is that this does not change any existing functionality. Existing capabilities, workflows, and user experiences remain intact. What we're really doing here is building a clearer, more connected data management experience that aligns with the broader data and AI lifecycle in SAS Viya. It's also an important step in our vision for data intelligence, which is all about helping organizations to turn data into trusted, actionable intelligence for analytics and AI, with governance built in from the start.
Nice. I'm especially relieved to hear that existing workflows will work the same as they did, like you said, so users don't have to worry about losing anything. Beyond these name changes, though, does this reimagining bring any new capabilities?
Yes. So one of the most exciting areas is SAS Viya Copilot, now in SAS Data and AI Studio, specifically how it helps with code assistance. It's designed to help users move faster by making it easier to generate, understand, and refine code as part of their workflow. For data engineers and other coders, that means less time getting stuck in the mechanics of coding and more time for preparing, managing, and using data effectively.
That's awesome. I love SAS Viya Copilot. We just did a whole show around it a few episodes back. It's like SAS Viya hot sauce at this point. It can just go on anything, honestly. Mark, I want to ask you specifically about SAS Data Accelerator. Many organizations have already invested in modern data platforms like Databricks and Microsoft Azure. What does SAS Data Accelerator bring to those environments, and why should technical teams and business leaders care?
Sure. So the simplest way to think about SAS Data Accelerator is that it helps organizations to bring analytics to the data instead of constantly moving data to the analytics. For many organizations, one of the biggest challenges today is simply moving data around. Teams spend a lot of time building pipelines, moving data between systems, and managing duplicate copies before they can get insights from it. SAS Data Accelerator helps solve that by bringing SAS processing, data prep, and model scoring directly to where the data already lives. The result is faster performance, less data movement, lower infrastructure costs, and stronger governance, because you're not constantly creating new copies of sensitive data. It also helps customers to modernize their existing SAS workloads without having to rewrite everything from scratch. We've also modernized the architecture to better support today's Spark-based and distributed data platforms, making it easier to bring SAS processing closer to where the data lives across modern cloud data ecosystems. And finally, we've made it much simpler to buy and use. Previously, customers often had to license separate in-database offerings for different platforms. Now with SAS Data Accelerator, we've consolidated those capabilities into a single offering, giving customers a much simpler experience as they work across different data environments.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So instead of moving large volumes of data around, Data Accelerator helps SAS run closer to where the data already lives, like you said, right? Could we see what that looks like in action?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's take a look at a demo that a colleague of mine made.
Let's see some of these powerful features in action. In this demo, we'll use Databricks deployed in Azure, and we'll run SAS code from SAS Data and AI Studio. You'll see how to score a model using Proc Accelerator, how to execute data step code directly in Databricks, and how to run models from a Databricks notebook. Let's begin in SAS Data and AI Studio. First, I'll assign a lib name to connect to Databricks. This library reference will be used throughout the workflow. Next, I'll create the training input data table, which is simply a copy of the SAS help.homeEquity table, plus an additional primary key column named record_PK. Home equity includes information about home equity loan applications, plus a binary response variable indicating if the outcome was a paid or defaulted loan. This data step loads the data into our Spark library. Next, I'll train the model in SAS using the homeEquity_train table. The grade boost procedure builds a model that will assign a predicted probability for each loan outcome. When proc grade boost runs, it produces two key outputs, an analytic store, or A store, and SAS code that represents the trained model. Before publishing the model, the proc A store step exports the analytic store. This step also generates a DS2 program, which encapsulates the model logic and will be executed in the embedded process. Now with the A-Store and DS2 program available, I can publish the model to Databricks. Using the accelerator procedure, I specify the target table, the model type, the DS2 program, and the analytic store. After running this step, the model is stored and ready for execution in Databricks. To run the model, I establish a connection to the embedded process, again using Proc Accelerator. The start session statement creates a communication channel between SAS and the SAS embedded process running in Databricks. Through this session, code is submitted and executed directly in the database environment. Once the session is active, running the model is straightforward. Use the run model statement to provide the model table, the input table, and the output table. The scoring operation runs entirely in Databricks. I'll follow up with a proc print step to view the first 20 observations of the output scored table. After the model is published, it does not need to be executed from SAS every time. Instead, it can be integrated into existing workflows. For example, in a Databricks notebook, the Data Accelerator APIs for Python or Scala can be used to execute the model. In this example, I use the Python API. The input data and the model table are loaded as Spark data frames. Then a model object is created, and we call the score method. This executes the model through the embedded process and returns a result data frame, which can then be stored or used in downstream logic. The same workflow can be implemented using Scala. Now, back in SAS Data and AI Studio, there's another option for model execution. When the grade boost procedure generates SAS code for the model, that code can be run directly in a data step without publishing the model. By enabling data step acceleration with the ds_accel = any system option, then calling the model scoring SAS code with a %include statement inside a data step, the code is pushed down and executed in Databricks. This provides flexibility. You can either publish and manage models centrally, or execute the generated SAS model code directly as part of a pipeline. In both cases, execution happens where the data resides. Finally, let's look at a general data step example. Here, I have a data step with a by-group operation. Traditionally, this would require loading the data into SAS, sorting it, and then executing the data step locally. With SAS Data Accelerator, the entire operation is pushed down to Databricks. Sorting is handled using native Databricks capabilities, and no data movement is required. The result is generated directly in the database, which calculated the average mortgage value per state. When processing is complete, the session with the embedded process can be stopped using Proc Accelerator with the stop session statement.
Nice, that was an awesome demo. I can see how SAS Data Accelerator lives up to its name. For data management in SAS Viya as a whole, though, what can we expect going forward?
Absolutely. So I'd say the big theme is helping customers to turn data into trusted intelligence for analytics and AI. We're continuing to invest in making it easier to discover, prepare, govern, and operationalize data across the organization, while also bringing more AI-assisted and agentic experiences into the platform. At the same time, we're focused on simplifying the overall experience, helping users to spend less time managing data and more time using it. So, if you're already using SAS Viya, I'd expect to see continued innovation across data management, data intelligence, and AI capabilities as we help organizations to get more value from their data over time.
As we've heard it here, data management has been reimagined, and the sky's the limit on how much more efficient it can become. Mark, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all this with us.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know about you guys, but I thought Mark did a great job breaking down this whole reimagining of data management. You know what? Maybe I need to switch it up too and change my name to something cool. Sorry, back to the script. It's that time again. Time to register for the 2026 SAS Hackathon. This isn't like typical 1 or 2 day hackathons. No. The SAS Hackathon lasts an entire month. This year for the full month of October. You can form your own team or join a team and then collaborate to come up with innovative solutions to real-world problems using SAS Viya and open source. If you're a student and not a part of a team, you can join our student track, where you can participate in an analytics simulation game to tackle a fundraising challenge. Registration for this year's hackathon is open until September 15th, so you've got just under a month left to register. To learn more and to register, go to sas.com/hackathon. And with that, we've reached the end of today's show, but be sure to join us again in October for our next SAS Viya Release Highlight Show. If you learned something today, give us a like, subscribe to the SAS Users YouTube channel, and click that bell so you'll get notified for new videos and when we go live for our next show in October. Until then, comment on what topics you'd like to see in future shows, and I think I thought of a name. If I could change my name, it would be the SAS Data Dummy. If you get that reference, let me know in the comments. Keep feeding your imagination, and thanks for watching.